What's good, y'all? This is Miss Winsley, aka Natty Geek 78, and I am here with a different, unique version for this episode of I Love Writing from Heartbreak to A Plus Essays. Today we are talking about the 15 you bet not words you should never use in your next essay. And I call it you bet not because, as you can see, my 3-month-old Boston Terrier puppy Deuce is in the you bet not phase where I'm constantly saying you bet not. So that's the title of this episode. You bet not use these 15 words in your next essay. So let's get started. So the first set of words are the personal pronouns. So we're talking about I, my, me, you, and your. You want to avoid first and second personal pronouns. So instead of saying I think, in my opinion, it seems to me, in my experience, I've learned that, or I believe the author, state the author intends. In your writing a formal essay, the reader knows it's you speaking. So therefore, you never want to speak directly to the reader. Also, using first and second personal pronouns are a little too casual. So I, you, your, me, my, in a formal paper makes you sound weak. And a lot of these 15 words that we're going to be discussing, I'm trying to avoid you sounding weak and timid in your writing. Instead, you want to stick with third person pronouns like they, readers, people, the audience, individuals. Those are good pronouns that sound formal, sound academic, sound certain, and lastly, sound strong. Now, sometimes, depending on the type of essay you're writing, we and us are okay, but it's a little tricky. And at all possible, in an argumentative or an informational essay, you want to avoid them if all possible. If you have to use it, you want to make sure that you only use it one time. So we are all wise to remember. That could be something you could write maybe in your conclusion paragraph. So the first 5, I, me, my, you, and your. All right, let's go to the next set, conditional words. Now, conditional words like would, should, could, may, and might, I like to put those in a theme park. So no theme park writing. So imagine we're at the conditional word theme park. So there are 3 lands in conditional world. We have fantasy land. So that is where you're trying to use would and could. So the policy would be better. A possible theme the reader could discover. You want to avoid Fantasyland. You want to leave the multiverse versions of alternate realities to Marvel, not in your writing. So you don't discuss the alternate versions that could be or would be in your essay, or might be or may be. You want to discuss what actually happens in your article. And frankly, when you use would, could, should, may, or might, that is just fluff or filler writing. So instead of saying a possible thing the reader could discover, how about saying a possible thing the reader discovers? Once again, you're trying to avoid being weak and uncertain. The next land in conditional world is monarchy land. So you want to avoid being a know-it-all in your writing. So words like should or could. So to beat Humbaba, Gilgamesh could. Government should take action. No, governments must take action to reduce carbon emissions. So should just sounds real forceful. It has more of a negative connotation. And like I said, you don't want to be a know-it-all. Also, these words like would, could, should, may, might give off a preachy tone or vibe. Like I said, must is okay. Once again, using it carefully. So the example, the reader must realize, or governments must take action. And the last land in conditional world land is Terror Town. Lastly, that is talking about may and might. Don't be a scaredy cat. Don't be a wimp. When you use words like may or might or could, you're giving off an uncertain tone or vibe to your writing. Instead, in a formal essay, you want to take a clear stand. You want to use decisive language. So instead of saying the reader may consider that, or the reader's opinions on social media might change. Instead, say the reader's opinion on social media changes. You see how it changes the complete tone where you go from uncertain to confident. So we have I, my, me, you, your, would, should, could, may, might. Let's go to the last 5. So vague or lazy words just means instead of using vague or lazy words because you don't want to find the vocabulary word that fits or the phrase that fits, say what you mean and do the work. So I'm talking about words like got, how, things, stuff, a lot. I could include really, but these are the 5 that I typically see in young writers. Now, these words are used in place of the actual word or actual precise writing. They're used when you just don't want to do the work in finding the precise words you want to use. So don't ask the reader to do your job. It's not the reader's job to fill in or replace the mental blanks for you. You do the work. So also, these words make your writing appear dull and once again weak. You want to use strong language. You want to convey a tone of certainty, a tone of strength when you're writing any essay. So instead of the author shows a lot of people support stricter gun laws, say the writer explains. So shows how. Well, shows how. How does the author show? The author explains through statistical evidence why several people support stricter gun laws. Or the narrator explains how things got out of hand for the hero. Well, how does the narrator explain it? The narrator explains how the circumstances allow the hero to lose control of the situation. So now I specifically explain how the author did it, and I also replace things with circumstances. So those are the 15 you bet not use words you bet not use in your essay. So let's go over them again. We got the personal pronouns, I, me, my, you, and your. We got the conditional words, may, might, could, would, should, and then we got the vague and lazy words, got, things, stuff, how, and a lot. 15 words you want to immediately, beginning today, eliminate from all formal essays that you write going forward. And that's all I got today. Remember, as always, embrace your inner geek. There is nobody uniquely fit for this world than you. Have a good one. Peace.